Hello, Chris Rabick here again to read from my novel, The Way We Get By, which is available for purchase at the link I'll provide along with my reading. This is from one of Drew's chapters called Drew and Ray. And even though the chapter is called Drew and Ray, half of it takes place between the two of them, and half of it takes place between Drew and his father. The final time that they spend an appreciable amount of time together is at a Tigers game, and this is from that time together. It was the fifth inning, but my dad had doubled that in number of beers finished. I'd never seen him drink so much. He was normally a one and done after work imbiber from what I'd seen in my 16 years. Remarkably though, I don't think it was slurring or acting wasted. His tongue was getting loose. "What music are you listening to these days, Drew?" Jen has me delving into Van Morrison's catalog. My dad nodded and smirked. "Brown-eyed girl?" I looked over at my dad. He was wearing a blue and white striped polo shirt and a windbreaker that was a little flimsy against the chilly breeze blowing off of the field. His hair was bushy under his adjustable Tigers hat. His mustache was graying and in need of a trim, and his burgeoning belly was barely constrained under his shirt. He was aging fast. It made me glad that I bore a stronger physical resemblance to my mom. Kevin and Jeff were spitting images of my dad. I suppose that was a factor in what I always perceived as my dad's preference for the two of them. I thought Brown-Eyed Girl was a little fluffy. I was more into St. Dominic's Preview and Moondance. "Sure, that's a good one." "It's about anal sex. You know that, right?" He took a sip of beer. I'm pretty sure my dad had never uttered the word sex in front of me, never mind adding anal to the equation. He's not even presented the talk to me. My brothers took me aside and gave me the lowdown when I was 12, although, of course, I already knew most of it from what my best friend, Aaron, had already gleaned from sneaking peeks at his dad's porn collection. I squinted against the sun as Cecil popped up to Steve Buchel, who was manning third for the Rangers. "Sounds like a pretty innocent song to me." He shook his head vehemently. "Hey, where did we go? Days when the rains came?" I shrugged. Mickey Tettleton took ball one. "She's got her period. Those are the rains." I didn't know how to react. It was odd enough that my dad had brought me to this game without my brothers. We hardly ever did anything by ourselves. Add the 10 beers and the talk of anal sex, and I was out of my element on every level. Then he says, "Down in the hollow, playing a new game. The new game is anal sex. Down in the hollow." He took a satisfied drink from the plastic cup. It occurred to me that the anus wasn't exactly hollow, but I wasn't nearly about to sass my dad. So what if it is about anal sex? There's been lots of clandestinely dirty songs. What about Afternoon Delight? My dad clapped as Tettleton drew a walk and trotted to first. The so what is that you'll meet a lot of women who love that song. They get all gooey when it comes on the radio or a jukebox. He mimicked a high-pitched voice. "This song is about me. I have brown eyes, hee hee hee." He rolled his eyes. It's great fun to point out that the song is all about butt sex in those moments. Rob Deere took a look at strike one. I couldn't picture my dad telling Kathy about his theory of the hidden meaning behind Brown-Eyed Girl. "I'll remember that, Dad." I nodded. Deere whiffed at strike two. My dad put his arm around my shoulder. He gestured with his beer at the batter. "This guy's a bum. Strikes out too much." Deere drew a ball. "He walks a lot." He shook his head. "Walks? This is the majors." When I was in Little League, the refrain, "A walk is as good as a hit," was chanted like a mantra. Aaron took it a step further and figured that if a walk was as good as a hit, then getting hit by a pitch was the same as a walk and required less time at the plate. So he was forever throwing his elbow into the strike zone. I don't remember my dad coming to very many of the games. He was usually working late. But the object at the plate is not to make outs. It doesn't matter how you do that. A walk is literally as good as a hit. I took a sip of soda. I like Rob Deer. My dad looked at me and crinkled his brow. No one pays to see walks. That's probably true, but mostly you pay to see wins. Not making outs helps the team win. Deer was ready to step back into the box, and he was in the top 10 in the league in homers last year. The Rangers pitcher delivered a high and outside fastball. Deer guessed correctly, extended his arms and connected. He drove the ball high and deep down the left field line. The left fielder didn't even bother to turn around and give chase. Fair ball. 2-run homer. My dad pushed the bill of my cap down, nudging it past my eyes. You're a smart kid. It was as close to a compliment as I was likely to get. And I don't think you're right about Brown Eyed Girl either.